to do this episode. Well, hello out there, great lands and lands. Welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge. We are here tonight to discuss the second episode of Season 2 of Peacemaker tonight. So I want to welcome all you wonderful YouTube people watching us out there, either on this live or on replay, or in any other place that you might be checking us out from. We appreciate it. But anyways, we are going to be talking, like I said, about episode 2 of Peacemaker. And episode 2 of Peacemaker wasn't too shabby of an episode, I thought. It was pretty decent, I thought. And I think it definitely wasn't horrible. It definitely had a very interesting kind of story arc, gave us a little more information, all that kind of good stuff. And I think that, it's definitely going to be fun to talk about tonight. So to start us off here, of course, I have my great trusty panel here. Of course, we have Mr. Jeff S. TrueKnowledge. How we doing, Jeff?
Sir, I am absolutely, excited to be on the panel tonight and excited to be hanging out with you gentlemen and reviewing Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 2. Wonderful.
Excellent. Great to have you. And of course, we have the Toxic Avenger, the Time Lord, the Ban Bat, the Bat Lord, the Time Traveler, the Time Cop, everything time something. We have Andreas, the pop culture guy here tonight. How are we doing, Andreas?
Oh, I'm doing very good. Very happy to discuss Peacemaker with you guys as well. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, excellent. Great to have you too, sir. And shout out to all those watching us right now. 6 wonderful people watching us. You guys are rocking it. Thank you for watching us and standing on by us. But
I wonder if anybody's ever had sex before while they were during our live stream while they were watching us.
I think it probably would be. But anyways, they probably were like thinking to themselves, yeah, these guys are hot. They're, awesome. So it gets us off, so might as well get it going.
It's very possible somebody could. I mean, our live streams are long. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you get, you might get a little bored, do something else. So
possibly. But anyway, so like I said, we're here to talk about Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 2. And this episode, of course, like I said, wasn't too shabby. I was actually pretty impressed with it. I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it or not, or if I was gonna, feel like they could top the first episode. But I think this one held its own very well, and I think overall was a fun episode. So kind of going around just to kind of start things off, I want to get your guys' thoughts going into this episode. Just kind of your overall thoughts from the first episode. Kind of what were you looking for into this episode, and did the episode give you what you were looking for, or did it not give you what you were looking for? And I'll start with you, Mr. Time Cop.
Yeah, so I think this was a good second episode. It was a bit longer than the premiere, which kind of expected, I think, because this episode did a lot to kind of get us to where the majority of the storyline for this season is going to be, is that parallel universe that Chris is going to be at in this season of Peacemaker. Plus, we got finally the scene where Rick Flag Jr. Reading the file of his son getting killed by Peacemaker in the 2021 Suicide Squad. So that was a great scene. So overall, I was very satisfied with this scene. We got the best action scene ever, I gotta say. I mean, not to go too far, but seeing Eagly in action was really great. And it was great to see the new characters from Argus being in play, especially the actor. I forgot his name because he's in a couple of Sandler films. I recognize. I mainly recognize him in, I think, Grown Ups. But overall, I was satisfied. I think this was a good pace episode that take us to finally the major storyline that we are like looking for this season.
Excellent, thank you, sir. All right, Jeff, your thoughts going into episode 2, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Andre's made some good points or whatever. I mean, I think episode 2s are always tough. At times, you know what I mean. And where I'm going with that is just that, the three of us, have covered a lot of different television. Over the course of the years we've known each other, we've covered a lot of TV shows, of different genres. You know what I mean. We haven't done a lot of second seasons of shows. We've only done a couple of those. So that's different territory when you get into a multi-season show that you're covering. Because there's more history. Built up. Behind that. The season that you're. That second season, that third season. Either way, I think episode 2s are always tough. Just because everybody, every show wants to like bring their A game for the first episode of the season, or for the first, for the pilot episode, whatever, right? You know what I mean? You want to put your best foot forward, you know what I mean? And look at Daredevil Born Again. Episode 2 was a pretty solid episode, but the first episode of Daredevil Born Again was like a 10 out, a 10 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was fucking like fire, it was like the best action of the whole series. You know what I mean? Like all in one, right in the first episode, with like the best fight scene of the whole season, whatever, right? Like right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? And they gave it to you right there, So I think that as far as my expectations, I don't have a ton of them when it comes to the second episode of a show. Usually, usually second episodes, third episodes are a lot of times end up being the episodes that are fillerish, almost like kind of episodes where they're just used to like build up the story or build up the plot. You know what I mean? Or introduce new characters. A lot of times they're stepping stone episodes that are just a piece of the puzzle leading up to a bigger event in the show. You know what I mean? In the season. Which is basically kind of what I think episode 2 of Peacemaker was, essentially, right? It was kind of like not a filler episode, but really, I mean, not a lot happened if you think about it. As far as like progressing the plot of the show, like as far as pushing the story, it didn't really, not a lot really, was achieved. So, I found it to be an entertaining episode. We're all new to Peacemaker, in terms of covering it. So like, it's new to me. It's a new show to me. And, I'm still trying to like really get, connect with it, like get a feel for it. You know what I mean? For the, for all the characters and, and kind of develop, like an audience relationship, sort of, connection, like, with the show. Yeah, I mean, I guess in general, my expectations were met by episode 2. I don't really, honestly, the kind of show the Peacemaker is, I don't expect a ton from it. If that makes sense. Like, what I'm saying? Like, honestly, it's a very loose, funny, what I mean? Like, with some action, what I'm saying? That's R-rated kind of TV show. You know what I mean? With some nudity and, some gore, what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, I think that, one thing I will say is that, I think that that dismembering scene in episode 2 is probably the most gory, real life looking, visually dismemberment scene I've ever seen. I think in anything, I mean, honestly, don't get me wrong. I don't have extensive horror movie knowledge. Like, I haven't watched every crazy, 70s, 80s, whatever, fucking crazy, gore horror movie or whatever that's been out there or whatever. I've consumed all of it. But from my perspective, from my experience, from what I've seen and heard, I've never seen a scene like that vivid, of somebody being cut up like that. So I was pretty fucking shocked by that shit, man. To tell you the truth, it must be nice for Gunn, to be on HBO. You know what I'm saying? I bet he loves it. You know what I'm saying? Compared to Marvel, it's probably honestly, in all reality, think about it. Working for Marvel Studios for him, the way he is, and with his mind, probably kind of restricted him a little bit. Fitting in that box. At HBO, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I'm saying? So it's fun to see him actually be able to just do whatever. Yeah, Cyber. My expectations for episode 2 were met, and I thought that it was for an episode 2. It was pretty solid. And didn't seem like it was too long either. I didn't check the minutes on this episode, but it didn't feel like it was really long.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Awesome. All right. So this episode is called "A Man is Only as Good as His Bird." All right. So this beautiful episode, which was actually directed by Greg Mottola. Now, Greg Mottola directed the film Superbad in 2007. Just FYI. This was written by James Gunn. And had some really great songs in it. I mean, it had Dirty Money by Ida Maria. It had We Don't Need a Cure by Hardcore Superstar. It had a lot of great songs in this episode, I thought, that were just really fun. But this episode, it was just really fantastic. It had a runtime of 49 minutes. And I think it was really fun. So great job, everyone. Myself, yeah, I mean, like everyone's saying, I think it was a really solid episode. And just like you were saying, Jeff, I think that, yeah, definitely the gore factor in this is up there, unlike with Marvel and, being able to do it on HBO Max or HBO, it's definitely a higher calling that he's able to do here. He's able to do more like his film Slither or, horror films that are, very hard R. So yeah, definitely he's gone a way completely different direction with DC Studios. All right. So to start off the episode, in a flashback, Argus agent John Economist guides Rick Flag Sr. to his new personal office as the acting director of the organization. The latter having been sworn in to succeed Amanda Waller, who is facing congressional hearings. Flag is supplied with confidential documentation detailing the death of his son, Rick Flag Jr., in Corto Maltese during Project Starfish, learning of Chris Smith, aka Peacemaker's, responsibility for assassinating him under Waller's orders. Flag Sr. relays to Agent Sasha Bordeaux his attention to prioritize surveillance of Peacemaker despite his exoneration following Project Butterfly. All right, so we're going to stop there. That's a nice big little chunk there at the beginning of the episode. So what are your guys' thoughts on the beginning, that flashback, finally getting to see Rick Flag Sr., finally see what happened to his son? What did you think about, him becoming the new director at Argus and like all that good stuff leading up to, him telling that the other agent that they're going to be surveilling Peacemaker? And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I really like, the addition of Rick Flag Sr. To the show. I think that what they're doing with him in terms of having him on Creatures Commandos, animate in an animated form, right? And then also having him live action, you know what I mean? In Peacemaker. I think that's really cool. You know what I'm saying? That they did that. That gun, that the creatives worked that out, that they're going to continue doing that too. You know what I'm saying? Throughout, hopefully, if everything goes the way that Gunn said that they, said, that they're going to continue doing that, throughout, this new DC Gunverse or whatever, and have that transference of having, characters be animated and then also be represented live action too. I can't remember exactly what characters exactly behind Rick Flag Sr. that they're going to do that with. I forget. But I know that there's a couple other ones that are probably going to cross over like that. So he's a great addition. Obviously that actor played, Crossbones in the MCU, so we're very familiar with him, right? He played a Hydra Shield agent, right? In the MCU, and was in a couple films. Hats off to him for being able to pull the crossover of, being one of the few actors that's done DC and Marvel. That's dope. So, honestly, I really like Rick Flag in Suicide Squad. Me and Andres talked about this when we talked about Suicide Squad, over on his channel. I really like Rick Flag. You know what I mean? He was one of the only good characters in the first Suicide Squad film that I liked. Out of all that shitty, stuff that happened in that movie, he was one thing about it that I liked about it. You know what I'm saying? Was him. He was okay for me. You know what I mean? I was all right with him. I like that actor. In general, I enjoy him on screen. He can be in whatever, and I like it. I think he was didn't they do a RoboCop remake with him? Yeah. And I thought he was actually good in that, personally. I did. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I thought he was actually pretty decent in that movie. It didn't do well in the box office, unfortunately. It's sad for me to see Rick Flag die. You know what I'm saying? When he died in Suicide Squad, and when I saw it in the theater, I was really sad. You know what I'm saying? It was like a real loss for me. You know what I mean? When it happened, I was like, man, fuck that. I love this character. Why has he got to die? Seriously. I loved his dynamic with Harley Quinn. You know what I'm saying? And all that. It was really cool. And he has a sneaky humor kind of to him. That I like. So I guess in general, all the Argus stuff, the insertion of him into the show, where now he knows that Peacemaker killed his son, right? Obviously that's going to lead up and build up to other things that are going to occur in this, later on in this, this season, right? It's going to build up, obviously we know, later on in the episode, there's going to be events that are going to occur, where they're already going to start, investigating or, trying to, scope out, Chris's shit. I mean, besides that, I think, during that section, Cyber, I think you see Peacemaker, don't you? Wake up with the dead body. No. Oh, okay.
It goes to the credits before we get to that.
Oh, okay. What was the end point? I forget.
The end of the dream sequence there of the 8 months ago, up to when he tells that they're going to be surveilling Peacemaker.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I always enjoy, a decent flashback scene, as long as they're done well. I always like a nice, insertion of a flashback scene here and there. can be overdone sometimes on some, on some shows. Some movies will overdo it a little bit, but they don't seem to do that on Peacemaker. Besides that, I mean, I really don't really have anything else to say. I mean, just besides the fact that, I will say that I'm not a big fan of the theme, the title, a scene that they do, with the music and the dancing and all that or whatever. That's one thing I will point out that I'm not feeling about Peacemaker so far is I'm just personally not a fan of like that kind of song and dance routine and all that crap or whatever. That's not my bag, hey, teach their own, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure there are people who enjoy it and like it, and good for them. But I will say it is unique and it is different, a direction to go in, and I guess it does kind of fit the show in a way, I will say that, like it connects to the show, but I just personally don't care for it, it's too long.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I agree. I'm not a big fan of the new themed song this season. I think it sounds stupid. It's nowhere as good as the last season was. So I agree with you, sir. All right, Mr. Andreas, the pop culture god, Toxic Avenger, the amazing man, the time cop, the time lord. Your thoughts, sir, on this beginning section leading up to that they're going to surveil Peacemaker?
Very good. I was very happy that we got
Hot D.
Oh my god. No.
Hot D.
Yes, this scene was hot D, I have to say. I really enjoyed this one. It was really great to see finally, Rick Flag Jr. finding out that his son got killed by Peacemaker, I say before, in the the opening intro of the live stream. And first off, Frank Grillo, great actor. He's really good. I like that he's been, getting more work and being noticed. Like have you seen his work like in the Purge films or that one movie where he was like doing the Groundhog Day action film? I forgot the name of it, but like that was really good. So he's like really like rose as one of those like top action stars, of this like mid 2010s or 2020s, and I thought he was a great casting choice for Rick Flag Jr. I was very happy that we were going to do the dad because in Suicide Squad history, is the inverse. The dad is in the first incarnation of the Task Force X in World War II, because a lot of people don't know this. Before the DC made the Suicide Squad as supervillain team, it was more of like a G.I. Joe type of task force where it was like a bunch of army people joined together, to stop this impossible mission. And unfortunately, if they get killed, they get killed. And that was the premise of the original Suicide Squad before it became the thing that we know today, the supervillain team thing. So I was very curious if Gunn was going to bring the father in or like do the traditional way that his dad was, she knew Waller and like he was part of this like, early thing of the Task Force X. But no, we did kind of flip-flop that, which I like. And he really brought the emotion there when he was reading the file. And one funny note, like when he was reading the file, it literally like word to word what was going on from the film that his son got killed. Like even the last part where you say his last word was Peacemaker is a joke. I'm like, really? How the hell did he know that? Like that's just, I found that very goofy and like that was in the file. But anyway, I thought that scene was really good. It was good to see his female assistant again. We saw her last episode in the premiere, so got more to do with her there. So that was nice. But yeah, overall, very interesting opening to like get us to that, because we mentioned before last week, it was kind of weird we didn't get that first season, because the whole first season was about Peacemaker's guilt over killing Rick Flag, but also in general his his way of becoming the Peacemaker and why he did what he did. So it's good that we're getting that now in season 2. So yeah, overall good opening. Really liked it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Excellent job. Very well done, my good friend, my good Chewbacca man, my good Tatooine man. I'm just coming up with Star Wars themes here just for the hell of it because we got Andor in the background here, so I just got bring
okay.
Andor is the best background to have.
Yes. I think I'm more KS2O, sir. Android, not
No. You're more like a Jawa.
Cyber, I can't change the background, unfortunately, sir, because I can't figure out how to get my mouse to work on my MacBook Pro here in the garage. So I can't drag and save an image just with my with my finger pad,
It's all good. That's all right.
Yeah,
it's fine. No, I was just like coming up with new names for Andres because he's always trying to come up with new ones for me. So I thought I'd give him some more.
I think Andres the pop culture guy has enough names at this point, sir.
Yes.
I don't think so. I think he needs more. We're gonna go for more. We're gonna go for 1 billion. No, I'm just joking. Anyways, okay, good job, everyone. 10 billion points for everyone. And this too.
Fuck you, Steve from Bumble. Fuck you.
Anyways, just fuck you, Steve from Bumble. I don't know why. I don't know why she says fuck you to Steve from Bumble, but whatever. Anyways, so moving on.
That's like when I talked to that lawyer a couple days ago. Fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck you.
There you go. Excellent. All right. Excellent job, everyone. All right, so getting back to the episode. All right. So 8 months later, Economist is issued Agent Langston Fleury as a handler after Flag Sr. grows increasingly suspicious of the former's allegiance to Smith and his colleagues. The Oda Adebayo returns to the apartment of her ex-wife, Kia, who angrily reprimands her for being inconsiderate of the latter's personal wishes. Afterwards, Adebayo visits Chris and tells him about Flag monitoring his activities, while suggesting he forfeit his quantum unfolding chamber to Argus, an idea Chris rejects. Adria Chase meets with the pair and learns about the parallel dimension Chris previously visited, helping the latter dispose of his alternate counterpart's corpse. So we'll stop there at that great dissection sequence, which was awesome. The attention to detail, I'm sorry, on that was so freaking done well. It looked so real. And it was freaking hilarious at the same time, too, as like the heads rolled around and shit like that. And then Adrian is just like, Vigilante's just like all giddy about this shit, which is hilarious. And I'm so glad we got more of Vigilante in this episode. And it was just fun to see him again because he's always been one of my favorite parts of the series. So what do you guys think of that section leading up to the dismemberment of the alternate reality Peacemaker? And what do you think about Economist and him having to deal with Fleury? What do you feel? How do you feel about Leota being divorced now and all that kind of stuff? And what do you think about the quantum unfolding chamber as well? Just your overall thoughts kind of on this section leading up to the dissection of the dead Peacemaker. And this time I'll start with you, Toxic Avenger.
Sure thing. It's toxic time. Anyway, first off, Agent Fleury, that's his name. Fantastic. He was the best thing about this episode. I mean, we'll get into later, but his nickname on his team is so hilarious. It's just funny. But his interaction with Incommunos was so funny. I like his banter of like, how should I greet you? Handshake or fist bump. And I just like how just nonchalant Incommunos was with him, and him bringing out that he had like a let's see, one night stand with two ladies over Portland or something like that. By the way, there's a funny extended scene for this scene in this towards the end of the episode, which is funny. And yeah, and then of course you're seeing Walter's daughter. I'm gonna call her Walter's daughter because her first name is really hard to pronounce. So I'm gonna stick with Walter's daughter. Her meeting up with Chris and kind of forming like him, like us, the audience about like he's being monitored by Rick Flag. So that was good. And right now Chris is really like just not in the right mind. He's like he has become a hero from last season, but like he's not getting the kind of recognition he really wants, and like even his relationship with Hardcore is not like going as well as he hoped to be. So he's not like really happy right now, and getting this news about Rick Flag, father, is watching him, and every move is kind of like, oh my god, just nerve-wracking. So I really like that scene, and I like more seeing him and Walter's daughter because I like the relation as it was such a great like build up for first season because they were not getting along, but then they became really good friends over the first season towards the end of it. So I really like that, and I agree with Cyber. It was great to see more Mr. Chase himself because he's the best. I grew to like him over the first season for my benchmark, and it was so funny because he's so like he's one of those like characters where like he's so like chill about the violence, and like he's this very coolest superhero. Like he takes his job too seriously as a superhero, which is funny. And just him, I mean, just wrapping up, I've seen a couple of environment scenes before, and this is kind of nothing over the top, but like it's just funny, where Peacemaker's reaction of chopping his body, like he's so sick, and so like sad, and then you look at Chase as Cyber Saber, where it was so funny, he was like so happy to like chop up his friend, which I'm kind of concerned. I don't think I want to be. I don't want to be in the same room with him. But I guess I'll be happy that he will willingly chop up me if I get killed or disintegrate from another universe. So I love that scene, and the portal like dimension like room, really cool. I really love that. That was a really like great set from first season. We don't like see as much, but I really like that this season we're doing more of it. So I like that it's the main like driven plot for this season. So yeah, so I really love this section. Like this is where like the plot is getting like moving along, and the new introduction of the other Argus agent, Flower was really great, especially when he's talking to the other Argus agent that's like the second command under Junior, Rick Flag Jr. Just the way he was talking on the phone and like nonchalant and just like, oh, he's going to the party, whatnot. So like all that was so funny and great. So I really enjoyed it.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much. All right, going over to you, Mr. Jeff. What are your thoughts, sir, on that section leading up to refresh you to the basically to the where they cut up the corpse and get rid of it?
Okay, so at least so far, I don't really honestly care about Waller's daughters because I can't pronounce her name. But her relationship with her wife or whatever and all that, it does not interest me really all that much. Like as far as that aspect of the show, I just don't care. I could care less. You know what I mean? Like that dynamic does not matter to me. It's not that their relationship is not really an important facet of this show, really, of the season to me. So it's whatever to me. I do like Waller's daughter as a character. I like her interactions with Chris. And their bond, their relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that part about her. I like that they're tight. I like how, you know, she goes over to his house and eagerly comes out and like fucking, you know, pecks at her or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, you know, fuck off or whatever, you know? I think it's funny how Eagerly is like an asshole to people, you know what I mean? You know, like as a, you know, like as a sidekick or whatever, you know, like he's not very nice to people, you know what I mean? You know, and it's funny because Peacemaker's like, oh, he likes you, you know, or whatever, right after. The humor is great, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing I will say about this show is it is funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't laugh out loud very often when I watch television, personally. You know, like my with my TBI and everything, you know, like, you know, ever since I got it, like you know, my sense of humor has been a little bit, you know, thrown off. But so I don't really like, you know, guffaw or like laugh out loud very much stuff that happens in shows. But you know, Peacemaker's funny. You know, and a lot of the jokes hit, you know, the scene with Flurry and what's his name, you know, is funny as fuck, you know.
Yeah,
that's probably the funniest scenes of the seasons so far. Hilarious, you know what I'm saying? Like hilarious, you know.
I have burn blindness.
Yeah, bird blindness. I mean, who the fuck? What the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. I mean, seriously, like, you know, I know what a hummingbird. You mean a hummingbird that, you know, just hangs in the air and, you know, wings beat really fast or whatever, you know, and this and that. He's like, I can't tell the difference. You know, they all look the same to me. They all look the same. That just the whole concept of bird blindness is fucking ridiculous. You know, I mean, honestly, I love it. You know, it's perfect for Peacemaker. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Gunn did a good job. He wrote the shit out of Peacemaker. You know, and you know, that scene where the chick in the store, you know, thinks that what's her name's bruises and all that, and her wounds are like abuse by a man, you know, or whatever, you know what I mean? She's trying to help her out. And she's like, fuck off, you know, like, I'm on top of it or whatever, you know. That I thought that was a nice little add-in, you know what I'm saying? But you're right, Cyber. That what's his name? Vengeance or whatever the fuck his name is, you know, that whatever, you know, that Vigilante is that actor. He's great in this show. He's literally his whole energy on screen, you know what I'm saying? Just his whole vibe, you know, how he presents himself, you know, plus how his dialogue is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love his dialogue, you know, the shit he was saying about sex with Peacemaker when he's walking through the house, he's like saying how, like, you know, he's not into sex or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I don't really like sex or something like that, you know, but I want to like share the bond with, you know, with my best friend or something like that, you know, like that's just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like, it's just fucking out there. You know
I'm not a pervert.
Yeah. It's just out there. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's so funny and so like, you know, like 90s raunchy humor, like, you know, that his first reaction to seeing like the orgy from last night was like, dude, why didn't you call me for this party? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's hot nude chicks out there. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, you know? That one naked skinny chick was not that hot looking, bro. Like, honestly, like, you know, like, for me personally, like, you know, like, I'm sure I would smash her. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I haven't exactly been killing it, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, getting laid lately. So, like, I would pounce on that, you know, out of, like, pure, you know, sexual desperation. You know what I'm saying? But overall, in general, when it comes to, like, you know, like when I really enjoy, you know, beating off to the videotape of her, you know what I'm saying? No, you know what I mean? Like, you know, her value in that area would not be very good. You know,
Hot D.
You know, plus she doesn't shave her, you know, her private part area, you know, her private area, you know? And I personally don't care for that. I really don't enjoy it. And I'm very put off, like, in person when I'm like, you know, when in real life I've actually come across women that don't shave or whatever, and it occurs, like I'm very off, put off by that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very it's almost like revolting. You know what I mean? In all honesty, so I don't want to get too deep, folks, but I was not feeling that. There was other chicks laying there naked in the orgy, or whatever, that they could have had come out of there, and talk to Chris, besides her. It is totally dope that they had Peacemaker have like an orgy party. You know what I'm saying? Just that fact that he did that is cool. I don't really know I still don't know how I feel about this this whole like alternate universe shit that they have going on this season. This parallel dimensional crap that the father created or whatever. I really don't I don't completely understand it yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't I just don't completely get it yet. Hopefully they'll kind of like explain it more, as the show, as the season progresses, right? As of right now, I'm kind of at a loss as to the concept of of how all works, right? And obviously, the dad's dead, right? So he can't explain it. You know what I'm saying? You can't ask him. You know what I mean? But he exists in the alternate universe, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's the whole point. It's like what in the new Super movie is the rift. It's like another dimension you're in. So,
well, no, it's not a rift. Right? Didn't Chris say that it's like 99 dimensions or something like that or whatever?
Yeah,
it's like the multiverse.
It's like the
version. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, so it's not it's not a crack, and or something like that, or like a pocket, or whatever, or a void. You know what I mean? Like like Loki, or Superman. The Superman thing was like a void.
Yeah, It was more like the doors from Monsters Inc., where like those doors can enter you into other kids' rooms.
No, I never watched Monsters Inc.
Oh, really? Oh my god, that's a good Pixar film. But anyway, it's kind of like that for Peacemaker. He has multiple doors that leads into other worlds that he can go to. And he has this one that is like the opposite of his universe. So I get what they're doing. I mean, I don't need it to be explained because look at what the multiverse saga is doing. It's like they explained it, but they're like not consistent about that. So I don't need this to be explained. I get what they're doing,
Okay.
Yeah. And I get what they're doing, like thematically for the show, especially with Chris and his mental health and all that. So yeah. So I mean, I like what they're doing so far with that.
Well, obviously from the trailer, it's obvious that eventually Chris is going to take advantage of this alternate, universe, you know what I mean? So he can be with the chick and all that, whatever, you know what I mean? Because that's his ultimate goal, right? In these scenes, you see him flipping through his phone and looking at all the pictures of of him and her, right? Obviously that's a big theme of this season is that he has a major crush on Gunn's wife, right? The cutting up the body scene was fucking awesome. The different demeanors and dispositions towards it, doing it, between the two different characters, how they felt about it, Chris is horrified by it, you know what I mean? You see him first start cutting on the body, and then obviously other dude is just whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like Cyber said, it looked very realistic. I thought, honestly, it really did. They executed it very well, in terms of creating a real life looking body to cut up and all that, you know what I mean? And have it bleed and all that kind of stuff. It works. Again, just the fact that they took it that far, only on HBO could you get away with would anybody ever even go that far with a TV in TV? You know what I mean? That's a gory fucking scene, bro. Like that's something you would expect from a movie, not a TV show. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly. So, yeah, Peacemaker it has its own vibe to it. It really does as a show. It does not. It's very hard to compare it to any other show for me. You know what I mean? Like, it really has its own unique vibe going on. You know what I'm saying? Like its own unique little energy and universe that that Gunn created. You know what I mean? And it's honestly besides Born Again, which let's be honest was not really a full R-rated TV show. Realistically, it just had a couple of like gory moments. You know what I'm saying? But like that's about it. There was no sex, no swearing. You know what I mean? Like So I mean, this is really the first time I've ever watched a superhero show that's R-rated. You know what I'm saying? And this adult level. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. It's fascinating to watch almost. You know what I mean? Like, it's so different, than anything that the MCU has ever put out. You know what I'm saying? Or that DC's ever put out in the past. It's very interesting, and it really establishes a desire, I think, for fans to really want to watch and see the next show that they put out, like Lanterns, and the Amazonian show when that comes out, right? I think Peacemaker is going to help build up, really build up, some interest for for those shows, I mean, I'm personally, I'm really excited to see Lanterns when it comes out. I can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun to review. I'm loving it. I think this whole deal with the DC stuff being on HBO and doing with Warner Brothers and everything is good. It's a good deal. I like it. I think it's good for Gunn. For his creative, nature, energies, for him to be able to have that range of, with what you can do on HBO, with that R rating, honestly, my expectation would be that even Lanterns, even with it being a Green Lantern show, it will be R rated. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my expectation. It will be an R rated show and have adult themes to it, to some extent. We'll see, right? Yeah, that was a good section, Cyber. John Cena acts the fuck out of playing Chris, Peacemaker. He does a good job.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. 10 billion golden doubloons for you. So I'm changing it to doubloons now. It's not going to be points. It's going to be doubloons that you guys are going to be getting. So you got 10 billion doubloons. Andre's got 10 billion doubloons. I think that sounds a little more MCU-ish, like piratey. I like that, doubloons.
I'd rather have a gift certificate to the massage parlor. Forehand special, sir.
Well, sorry, no, that's just not happening. But to give you people an idea of what we were talking about an orgy scene earlier.
I think I'm done with icebergs. If I leave her, she gon' die. Well, bitch, you done with life. Okay, then I pull up with no knife, cause I bring guns to fight. So you got that sack, I got that sack, but ain't no ones of mine. Know my little bitch say I'm getting too booty, I don't need like tons of mine. Alright, I look like without them 20. All them hoes like how I'm coming. Yeah, I look like without this money. I like having all these hoes. When I crush smile white gold. Yeah, I'm talking down to gold. Came from the box, toes. Yeah, back in baby. 100, that was the baby show. Let's go. Probably some cap in my rap by the time this shit drop, they gon' pay me some more. I still can go back to the traps and about pick it up, make it play.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much what it was like if you watch the first episode, honestly, so just to throw it out there for everyone out there. Anyways,
the baby like motherfucker wasn't there at the party. He skipped it.
He did.
He couldn't get a ride.
Maybe he was with the guy the P Diddy guy that was getting his juice, his P Diddy juice. Anyways, all right, guys, great job. All right, moving on. All right, so the 11th Street Kids, which are Peacemaker, Waller's Daughter, Harcourt, Adrian, and Economist, hold a rooftop party at Harcourt's apartment. Chris attempts to console Harcourt about her recent injuries, which she angrily resists. Meanwhile, Flurry and a team of Argus agents raid Chris's residence in search of the interdimensional energy signature coming from the Quack, but are brutally assaulted by Bald Eagle pet Eagly. So we'll stop there. All right, so what do you guys think about the Eagly situation? Him beating up Tim Meadows and all his wonderful little cohorts there, which while I was watching that episode, I was like thinking to myself, the chick that he kept calling titties had the biggest butt chin I have ever seen. So if you have anything to say about that, please do mention it. And what did you guys think about them having a little party up on top of Harcourt's apartment? And the great scene where Adrian tries to throw Economist the Bud Light and he keeps dropping it. Fucking hilarious. I think that's a great sequence there. I think it's pretty funny. But anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on that section leading up to Eagly beating up all those Argus guys? And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Sorry about that. Well, obviously, I mean, that's a great section. Again, the Flurry character's so funny. I forgot that actor's name, but
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows, yeah. He's always been funny. He's great in this episode, right? When he names all the agents, you know what I'm saying? At the raid, you know what I mean? And he calls the one man-looking chick tits. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, I laughed out loud at that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but yes, when you mentioned Pete Diddy a minute ago, all I could think about was baby oil, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I can think about. And the freak offs. You know what I mean? The freak offs, bro. I'm telling you, what I would give to be able to have been to one of Pete Diddy's freak offs, bro. You know what I'm saying? To have been invited, that would have been something else. Yeah, I mean, hey. Eagly is badass, bro. Like honestly, as a sidekick, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's really fucking pretty badass. Honestly, I was surprised that any of them survived. From him. You know what I mean? Like I figured they were all gonna end up dead. When he pulled that one guy's fucking eyeball out, I was like, I mean, holy fuck, again, with the crazy, body, horror, kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? Going in that direction, right? But I love seeing that, just the way that Eagly fights, his fighting style or whatever, that he uses, where he launches into people, you know what I'm saying? And knocks them down and then pecks them and shit, is great to watch. They do a really great job. However they animate Eagly, however that process works, it's awesome. I'd love to actually know how they do it, because it looks great on screen. It really does. It looks so real, he looks like so like a real bird. Going back to Flurry, seeing the video, with Eagly in it and not knowing what the fuck it is because of his bird fucking, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And the guy's like, dude, that's an American bald eagle, the signal of America or whatever, you don't fucking know what that is. That whole mission was just fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Just the banter in the banter in the truck, before they go in, you know what I mean? And the whole, we better wait before we go in because there's a possibility that Peacemaker might come back because he might have left his housewarming gift, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because I've done that before. You know, like, come on, bro. You know. So you know, yeah. It was the whole party, like the whole like, you know, party scene was with the group, the gang, with the, you know, with them dancing and all that shit in slow motion and all that was awesome. That was dope. You know. I loved seeing you know, dude, you know, throw the other dude a beer and have it break twice in a row before he hands him a beer. You know. Like, you know, like it's hard to catch a beer when somebody throws you a beer. You know, it's actually not that it's not that easy to catch a beer. You know, I've experienced it before. Yeah, it was cool seeing them all get together and all that. You know, and obviously, you know, Chris is all into, you know, Gunn's wife, you know, whatever her name is, and I'm still trying to familiarize myself with the characters at this point. You know, I'm slowly getting to know, getting used to their names, but yeah, I thought that was a great section of the episode, Cyber. A lot of interesting stuff happened. We got some action, you know, and as usual, the music is on point, you know, for the most part, right? You know, like the music is good, that, you know, during the episode, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Great job. Yes, you know, Hardcore, you know, she is absolutely a fun character to watch. She might be very irritating, but at the same time, it's worth it because she's gorgeous. But it's like, come on, give in to Peacemaker a little bit, please. Come on, I know I see it there. I see it there, you know. And so that situation there where he's trying to console her, it's like, oh, how dare you? Oh God, which was absolutely hilarious, and it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, okay, Hardcore, okay. Anyways, so yes. So great job, sir. Another 10,000 million quadrillion bajillion doubloons for you. All right, going over to you, Toxic Avenger, who might or might not know what porn is.
Shut
Your
up.
thoughts, sir,
Why
on
did
that
you brought
section?
that up in the live stream? Oh my god. That's why we have private chat, sir. Anyway, folks, we were talking about Jeff, and I think Cyber told me in the chat that he wants him to make a video. So, yes, sir, I have seen a lot of them. You know, the fake taxi.
I make videos,
you know,
sir. Don't worry about me. I make videos.
Oh yeah, you make videos? Oh my god, you have to tell me. Like,
I've got all kinds of camera equipment, brotherfucker. Believe me, you wouldn't even know. I've got all the shit, all the toys.
Yeah, I know the good stuff. I know the trees. I know the, you know, that the chick on the face. Yeah, check that. Yeah, all that I have seen in my last 10 years of life, sir. Cyberneticshark. Anyway, my
Did he say 10 years of life?
What the fuck? Yeah. What is the deal with that alien character that pops out of that closet or whatever the fuck at Peacemaker's house?
I don't know.
What the fuck is that?
I think it's a Martian or something like that. I don't know. Like, I'm curious. What is that? Is it like a white Martian or like in general a Martian for the DC universe? I don't know.
Some fucking alien creature or something or whatever. You know, and Peacemaker's just like, fuck off.
I got a feeling it's just gonna
Never says hi.
You never say hi. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. It's a cool alien. I like it. So, but yeah, it's kind of weird. But I mean, I think it's gonna be this running gag. He just comes out, and then Chris will say, "Excuse me," or you never say hi. You know, like it's not gonna be a serious thing. I think that's just gonna be a running gag for the whole show. Anyway, yeah. So this final part is awesome. Eagerly attacking the whole Argus, I guess mercenary people was awesome. I was not expecting. Eagerly just being the best pet ever, attacking everyone and, bulging the eye out. Like, I was worried it was going to get killed, which I was like, come on, don't hurt Eagerly, because he got hurt in last season. And, yeah, so I'm very happy that, he did the right thing, was protecting the house. And, the scene with all the, what they call them, the 11 street again, scene in the rooftop was amazing. I really like it. It's like it's a downtime to like spend time with the characters because Chris is gonna be like kind of separate from them finally in the full season because he's gonna go to the other Peacemaker dimension, right? So I think it's good that we spending some time here, but also setting up like he wants to probably stay over there because of the scene when he was starting to hardcore, they're having this kind of cute, romance scene, but then she, I mean, like from the last episode, you can understand that she's very like defensive about, her being, female person and all that, and she kind of take, like she doesn't want like help, she's a capable person, and and that's kind of defensive when Chris was kind of like trying to like, he was just only helping her out, to do certain, just help her out, well, like, emotionally, but she kind of hurt Chris' heart pretty badly. Yeah, so I think it was great. I mean, I agree with Jeff, the running gag of the beer, Bud Light, 2 beers, for me at Economos was hilarious. I kind of wish we kept that a secret because they showed that like in either the first or second teaser trailer that we reacted, but it was still funny when we saw that. Yeah, and then I wanted to I know you already passed that, but like it was funny when that I guess rehab or like counselor woman was in that store where her car was getting the chips, and she like was trying to like she thought she was a victim, and it was so funny. She was like so shy about it. And I was like, what the hell? And then, and of course, this random guy was staring at her car, and then she referenced him to be what was it, like a Pokemon, or I forget what character. One of the Muppets character, Kermit, I think it was, and that was hilarious. Especially the ladies like, no, that was not a good comment about you being Kermit. So that was hilarious. I really love it. I agree with Jeff. I mean, this is the full on James Gunn hard R, comedy, person. He knows how to make jokes and land it. It's very different from the Guardians films, but it's not too far. It's just like he's going for more raunchy humor. If you like that kind of humor, like in vein of Stripes or Caddyshack or whatever 80s stuff you know. Yeah. So overall, it was a good end point of the episode. I really like, and just very excited to continue with the show with you guys. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Excellent. Toxic Avenger, Time Cop, Time Lord, Time Bandit. You are the man. And you got 20 billion damn doubloons, sir. You did such a good job. You get 20 doubloons. Anyways, great job, everyone. Very done well. Yes. So I think this section was was really fun. Most definitely. I think it was very good. It didn't feel. Excuse me.
You okay, sir?
Yeah.
You okay?
Wrong pipe.
I hope the aliens are not coming out of your stomach, sir. Like City Boy.
Probably.
Oh, dear.
Anyways, sorry about that, folks. But yeah, I have to agree with the whole Eagly thing. That was freaking crazy how he was attacking all those Argus guys. Hilarious, awesome, and just all around very funny. Especially when he goes flying up and like Tim Meadows is like, where did he go kind of deal. And then all of a sudden he comes because the one butt ugly tit chick, she's like, he's like, ah, which was hilarious. So I think that whole scene was insane, but at the same time, really fun. And I just really, I enjoyed it myself too. But yeah, so I mean, entirely that whole section, I think, really shined and really did a good job. And I liked it that I didn't feel like this episode didn't seem like a filler episode. It actually felt like it achieved some progression of the story. And so I think that's a strong and hard thing to sometimes do with a second episode, because sometimes it can be a filler episode, but this one I thought they did a good job with keeping it pretty smooth and pretty straightforward and getting the story to move along. So great job, everyone. All right, so coming to the conclusion of the episode. So a drunken Chris returns to his home and searches through the alternate Peacemaker's phone, which he had retrieved while disposing of the body. He attempts to text the other universe Harcourt, the alternate universe Peacemaker's ex-girlfriend, but the message fails to send due to Chris being in his original reality. Chris returns to the parallel dimension through the Quack and successfully makes contact with Harcourt as he overhears both his father, Augie Smith, and brother Keith looking for their Chris Smith. And that's how the episode ends. All right, so guys, what did you think about the ending of the episode? What did you think about a drunk Chris? What did you think about overhearing the conversation like, oh, the Chris keeps disappearing more often than he usually does? And what did you think about Peacemaker texting the other Harcourt and all that good stuff? So I'll start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a super exciting ending to the episode. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of, I guess establishes kind of like, the momentum, going into episode 3, in terms of what's going to occur. You know what I mean? Obviously, the Argus, soldiers lick their wounds, and disappear, so when Chris gets home from the party, he doesn't even realize that anybody's been there. You know what I'm saying? And then remind me again, Cyber, what happens at the end of the episode again? I can't remember.
Remember, he sits down on the bed. He's looking through the phone, tries to text the Harcourt from the other universe, then goes into the augmenter thing, the reality place, and then goes through the door into the universe where he found the other Peacemaker and killed him, and he overhears his father and brother talking about how he's missing. And the text that he sent goes through, and she texts back with a broken heart and hey, and then the episode ends.
Oh, that's kind of confusing. How is he able to text the Harcourt from the other universe?
Because he has the Peacemaker's phone from that universe.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, yeah.
That's what that phone was that he pulled out.
Yeah.
That has all the pictures on it and all that stuff. Or that's how he knows they're together or whatever in that universe, right?
Yes. Yeah. We saw that before this.
Oh, so he's going to just superimpose himself essentially. Now I get it. Like as the other Peacemaker essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's very illuminating, Cyber. Andre, thank you. I appreciate that. I did not realize all that, sir. So that is actually very interesting. I didn't realize that he had slipped into the alternate universe or whatever, and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in general. His interactions with his dad and his brother and things like that, as his other self, you know what I mean? Essentially, right? I'd have to assume that they have all the same mannerisms and the same speech patterns and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be that hard for Chris to slide in there, and be, his other self, right? It definitely adds a really interesting wrinkle to this season, having this whole alternate universe deal, it makes you wonder, how much time is Chris going to spend in this universe, hanging out with Harcourt all the time, like that kind of stuff. And obviously, Rick Flag Sr. is trying to, he wants to, get into that house, you know what I'm saying? And, figure out what's going on. And when Chris entered that alternate universe, didn't it set off some kind of like alarm or whatever on Argus's computer or whatever? At one point in the episode, didn't it send like a signal that something was going on?
Yeah, they're monitoring it, but we don't see it in this episode. They probably will get it next episode. So yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Andres?
Yeah.
They had that like red blip on the screen or whatever, right when he entered the dimension.
Yeah. It's called like a sonar. So like they can detect whenever he activates the portals to that dimension, and they can tell.
They just don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what it is, but it's just they know it's like something similar to what Lex did.
That's why that one Argus soldier came in there with that one device that could detect whatever energy or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. Before Eagly destroyed it, before he got destroyed in the fight. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, Cyber. I felt like they did a pretty good job of working everybody in. All the main characters all got into the show. I think that it's going to be interesting in the next episode to see the dad come back to life in the show again. You know what I mean? Have Robert Patrick back out there, playing the dad. Obviously in the trailer we see him like suiting up, all that kind of shit, like in the trailer. So we know they're gonna do stuff with him. It was an okay ending, and now that you guys explained some of that stuff to me, I totally understand now what happened there at the end of the episode.
Excellent, sir. Thank you. Another 20 billion, 3 billion, 40 billion, 60 billion, 100 billion doubloons for you, sir. Plus a coupon to the massage parlor just for you. All right, going over to you, Toxic Avenger. Your thoughts, sir, on the conclusion of the episode.
Yes, the conclusion was fantastic, awesome, timeless. See what I did there? It was pretty much where I think we were leaving off Chris. I understood what they were trying to do with Chris with the whole another dimension, him taking over the other Peacemaker universe, because he's not happy in his universe. Like his relationship with Hardcore is not going anywhere. Like she's not like committed to this like she doesn't want to commit, to Chris. And that's like really upsetting him. And, despite him, being a hero for last season, he's not getting, like I say before, getting the recognition as a superhero, his meeting with the Justice Gang was like such a joke. He wasn't taken serious by those guys in the first episode of the season. And everyone, his friends are like doing their own thing, so like he's pretty much alone. And plus, last season, spoils, Jeff, I can't really go around here, but like he killed his dad in last season, and that
he shot him in the head.
So that was a big traumatic thing he had to face, because he was forced to kill his his brother when he was young. Like there's a lot of emotional baggage he has now, even more than he had, killing Rick Flagg's son. And so it makes sense for him to do the risky thing, go to another universe, pretend to be this other Chris, where he has everything. He has a relationship with Hardcore or there. He has his brother alive, which is good. He really that was something he really loved to spend more time with. And his dad is nice to him. That's something he would not expect. So it's a very emotional time for him as a person. And so it makes sense for him to go to this, parallel universe, pretend to be this other Peacemaker, and get the life that he's not getting right now over his, crappy universe. And of course, him texting Hardcore made sense. It made like he tested, but like because the Wi-Fi over there didn't work in his universe, he had to go back to the parallel universe, and then the text actually went through, and so like that's the whole thing. So anyway, yeah, very fantastic ending. Love it. I think it's setting us like I think one of you guys said it before. Like it didn't feel like a filler episode because it set up everything that we need to see now moving forward. Because that's the whole point about this season: seeing Chris in this other dimension and all that.
It was still entertaining, Andre.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining episode. A filler episode. Filler episodes usually aren't entertaining.
No, that's true. Yeah, that is very true. I seen a lot of filler episodes in my life, sir, and they're not fun.
I know, sir. I was there with you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it was, and I experienced them myself.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up Daredevil, Borgen. That's a good example of like, oh my god, that was like some.
Honestly, 6 months later or whatever the fuck, since we did Daredevil Born Again, I can honestly say that my thoughts on it is that I don't think it was that good. I think it was actually a disappointment. It did not meet my expectations.
Yeah, no. I'm kind of agree with you in that. It wasn't my favorite Disney Plus show.
It was very inconsistent in terms of the episodes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, just like Captain America 4, because it got reshot, and so you knew even the episodes you saw, it was like
Captain America 4 was terrible.
Oh my god, yeah, it was terrible. It was really bad. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on Peacemaker season 2, episode 2 episode. So it was really fun, very funny, and very excited to move forward with the next episodes in a couple weeks.
Thank you, Sir Andres, your pop culture man, or I should say, Sir Mr. Pop Culture Porn Man. Anyways,
What? I don't think the obvious ones. Why? Oh my god! You had to call me Pop Dirkly. That.
There you go. Yeah. That's what we're gonna call you from now, Pop Dirkly. Yep, that's it. Yeah. Dirty Andres.
Oh my god! No. No. I'll stick with Pop.
Anyways, billion doubloons for you again, sir. Great job. All right, guys. All right, so that was the end of the episode. So what are you guys' ranking? What your rating of this episode is? I'll start off, and I'll give this one a solid 9. I give it a 9. I think it's a really solid episode, and I enjoyed it. What would you give it, Andres?
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a fantastic episode. Nothing it wasn't a slow episode. It was a well-paced episode. Funny moments, really funny moments. Jeff brought it before. I never laugh out loud when I watch these episodes to review, and this was one of the cases where I actually did laugh out loud in in the section of this episode. So that is an incredible thing. So I will boost it up a little bit. 9.5 out of 10. I think it deserves.
All right, Jeff.
I'm going to go a little bit lower than you guys. I'm going to give the episode an 8. I think it was solid. An 8 is a good rating. It's not a bad rating. It's a pretty high rating. So I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So, Jeff, you wanted to ask a question.
Yes, sir. I just was wondering, since some time has passed, since we reviewed some certain shows and things like that, just what you guys' thoughts were, looking back now on things like Daredevil Born Again, now that we've had some time to kind of, kind of linger, some months have passed. A lot of times you'll have some different thoughts, than what you had, right when you're covering the show. So I just was wondering, Cyber, I guess, and then you to Andres, looking back at Daredevil Born Again, were you disappointed with what we ended up with overall, or were you okay with it?
I was okay with it. I understood what happened. I understood that the shit they put in, they had to redo it. And I think what we got overall was okay and entertaining.
So you think that season that season 2 or whatever you want to call it, Daredevil Born Again 2, whatever they're going to call it, you think will be better because they won't have all the bullshit?
Yes, I do. I think that it'll be a little more coherent for you. Simply for the fact that they basically that was when they started doing the reshoots. They started filming the second season. So I think that this season, the second season, will be a lot better than the first season.
Okay, I definitely agree with you on that. Now, what about Captain America 4?
I had no gripes with it. I found it entertaining. Was it the greatest movie? No. But I still, 6 months later, still enjoy it. Think it's entertaining. I like the Red Hulk. I like seeing the Red Hulk bash shit. And I did enjoy it for what it was. It was a mangled mess. Simply the fact that it had been reshot, refigured several times, over the last couple years before it got released because of changing the name and changing the direction of the MCU. It definitely was a pile, but I still think it was entertaining.
Andres, same question, sir. Daredevil Born Again.
Kind of the same thing with Cyber. I'm okay with it. Look, it's gonna be hard for a Daredevil related content to follow up with the Netflix show. That was always going to be a hard task to do that. And and unfortunately this show was in the middle of the transition of the Marvel Studios fixing itself as a studio. So what we got was decent. It wasn't bad. It gave us good moments. It gave us great moments actually. Great moments, but it was just the story was just over the place. But as Saber brought it up before, I think next season, when it's in March, is going to be a way better season because the showrunners are through in this show now, and it's going to be a more completed version and vision that we didn't get for first season. So that's exciting. And then Captain America 4, I kind of with Saber. I was kind of surprised I saw it twice. I saw the second time with my mom. My opinion is it's not the worst Phase 5 project at all. It's not as bad as the Marvels or it's not as bad as Ant-Man 3. Those movies are bad. Ant-Man 3 is really bad, and Secret Invasion, just Ironheart is really bad. At least this was decent.
Oh yeah, Ironheart is really bad.
Yeah, at least this was fun. It at least was trying to be a movie compared to other Phase projects where you could tell it was compromised, and this movie is compromised. I'm with Cyber. I like the Red Hulk stuff because Harrison Ford is the best thing about that movie, really. And there's there's other great moments too that I like. I still like NT Mackie. He's just still a great Captain America. It's just he didn't get good material, and I really love what's his name? Kurt Lumby's character. Isaiah. Look, I love Kurt Urban because he voiced Martian Manhunter in the Justice League cartoon that I grew up. So I was always happy to see him do more. And I wish he got more to do in Captain America 4, but the stuff we got, he was really good. So it's a decent Phase 5 project, but it's not the special, And, we got better projects after Captain America 4. I think Thunderbolts, for me, is the best Phase 5 project.
Let me stop you there because that's what I was going to ask next. Thunderbolts came out, right? A lot of people think that it's the best. It's the best MCU film that came out this year. A lot of people do believe that, right? Did not do super well in the box office, unfortunately. A lot of people did not watch it. Since you already mentioned it, Andres, what are your thoughts? 4 months out on the Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts! I love it. It's amazing. I think it's my favorite comic book movie of this year, because it was a dark, compared to other MCU projects, it was a darker superhero film that dealt with themes that you didn't expect Marvel to do, depression, mental health, all that. I was very surprised they did that. I mean, they did a really good job with the Void and Sentry. I was kind of like how they were going to do those characters, Sentry and Void. They did an awesome job with those two characters, and I think I think the Void is one of the best villains we had gotten. Um, I know you guys are very indifferent with Black Widow, but like the things that I liked about the Black Widow was the Elena family stuff in the first two acts of Black Widow. I was very happy we picked that up, and I mean, Florence Pugh, great actress, love her. Very happy she's like the lead now in the Avengers films, and like with this team, I'm very like confident with the next Avengers movies. The fact that they're going to be in it. So it's my favorite movie. Whenever we get into the other superhero movies that we had this year, I still like this movie more, and it's number one.
You okay, Jeff?
Yeah, Cyber, same thing. Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolts.
This was him a second ago.
I thought he was Iceman. I was like,
I had a brain fart.
Yeah. No worries. We always have that.
I thought Thunderbolts was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really done well. I was impressed with the development of several of the characters. I like that they grew them. I like how they got better. I was not a big fan of Ghost at all in Ant-Man the Wasp. I thought she was the worst character ever. And Hannah Cam and Joy came in and Hannah Cam and John, she came in and blew me away. I was really impressed with how good she became in this movie versus how she was in the Wasp, and I was really pleased with that. And also, I love that we got more to see of Johnny Walker and how he kind of has developed and grown too since his characterization of Falcon the Winter Soldier. And I really enjoyed that too because I thought that I absolutely love Russell. As an actor, I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he's got the acting chops like his dad, Wyatt Russell, and I loved how he grew his character too from when we first saw Johnny Walker and kind of where he's at, and kind of how he's become more of the Johnny Walker from the comics, and I think that was done really well too. So I think it's a very solid film. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say any of the MCU films this year I like more than the other. All of them are kind of equal playing field for me. All of them I found entertaining, and each of them had something I really enjoyed better than the other.
So, just a secondary question: how does it work now with the Thunderbolts being the Avengers? Like as we head into Avengers Doomsday, what happens? Like as with them as the Avengers?
I don't know. I mean, them being the new Avengers, I don't know how that's going to play into, how much they are going to be the Avengers. I don't know.
Like, are they going to go out? My point is, are they going to go out and recruit? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they going to go out and recruit other members? Are they going to, get Captain America in the fold? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to be forced to?
No idea. Until you see the movie, nobody knows.
Yeah, well, for me, I think the Thunderbolts feel more like they're the more military version of the Avengers, because we are getting another Avengers team with Sam, and Sam's team will be more of the traditional Avengers that was like under Captain America. With this team, they're like the Dark Avengers. So because all of them are like former mercenaries / assassins, and so with Doomsday, they will do something that is kind of like the opposite of what Sam was doing. Like the fact that they took in Bob, who is one of the most powerful super beings, that almost killed New York. Of course he didn't kill it, but like I mean that power is like really dangerous, and so that's the kind of dilemma that those teams will kind of face with the incursions that's going to happen in Doomsday, with the multiverse stuff, right? And so I think that's going to be kind of like the dilemma for the Avengers Doomsdays, particularly the two Avengers teams that we're going to get with Sam and Elena's versions. So and the other ones that we got, Fantastic Four, and their Earth, and then of course the X-Men, and then I'm thinking what the other team, but yeah, so that's what they're setting up to be in the next Avengers films, the Thunderbolts / Avengers, New Avengers.
Your favorite, Andre. It's your favorite.
No, that's not my favorite. That's not my time machine. Anyway.
Okay. So, next Ironheart. We have not had one.
Oh my God.
We haven't had one chance to go back and look back at Ironheart and really, give our final thoughts on what we thought of that shit show. Cyber, what do you think? What's your take? After you've had some time to kind of let it turn around in your head, what's your take on the Ironheart series?
I mean, honestly, it really hasn't changed since we did the reviews. It was nothing great. It had a lot of potential, but it just wasn't anything that great. The best part of it was finally getting Mephisto. Pure and blank. Getting Mephisto was the best part about that whole series. Finally getting to see him, having Sacha Baron Cohen play the character, and finally getting to see him, it kind of show fruition from, so many times we've had little Easter eggs saying that Mephisto's around. Finally getting him was really the culmination of that show. And that's the only thing that was really worthy of that show, was the fact that we got Mephisto. Other than that, pretty much everyone in it was okay. I mean, the lead was horrible. I'm sorry, I don't know what they saw in that actress that plays the Ironheart herself. She just did not do anything for me. She wasn't entertaining. She wasn't funny. She wasn't like, I just didn't care for her acting at all. But I do have to give Anthony Ramos some kudos, because I thought he did an okay job as his character in the show. Other than that, Mephisto was the only reason that show was anything entertaining at all.
All right, Andres?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I guess, to be honest, I was kind of surprised it wasn't as bad. I don't know what the word say. Like I was surprised it wasn't as bad as we were expecting, but that's not saying much, really. I mean, it's definitely the most interesting Disney Plus show we have talked about. I mean, the fact that the hero gave in and made a deal to the devil is interesting, but the problem is they executed in such a bad way that you didn't care about how Riri gave in to the darkness and made this deal with Mephisto, which is a shame, because that's a very cool and twisty superhero tale. That's something we haven't seen with that before. So, but they did it such a bad way, as I didn't care the reason, with her friend, the AI friend. I was like, why we're doing this? It didn't make sense. And I agree with Saber, the only best thing was really Mephisto. I was happy we got him. He was acted great by, what was it, Cohen? Baron Cohen.
Baron Cohen, you got it.
Yeah, thank you. I was his casting at first, I was like, him? And then, oh no, he was good. He was amazing. He was the best thing about really, the last 2 episodes that we've gotten. And yeah, that's really it. I just wish there are other things that was in the Ironheart show was in better things. I like the Hood. The Hood was actually really good, but I just wish she was in another thing instead of Ironheart, because it's so annoying, because no one didn't see the show. And in the Stain, come on, as an Iron fan, I think they could have done something with Stain's son. And I was just very annoyed that they had to put it in Ironheart. So it was a okay Disney Plus show. I don't want to watch it never again, because it is not worth your time to watch it. And I do agree with Saber. It's I don't understand from Marvel Studios why they saw the like why they saw to do, like spin off Ironheart as a show. Like they could have done other supernatural like related Marvel characters like Ghost Rider or like another sequel to
yes, they could have.
Werewolf by Night to like introduce Mephisto. Like why Ironheart? That doesn't make sense to me. And so that's where I'm at right now. So that's my opinion. It was okay. I was surprised it wasn't as bad, but still, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to watch this ever again.
Oh yeah, I'm never gonna watch it again. I agree. It made no sense from a comic book standpoint for Mephisto and Ironheart to connect. You know what I'm saying? It was a terrible show, and it was not well received. Like it was universally considered a bad show by everybody. Like wherever you looked around on the internet, everybody was beating it up. You know what I mean? Like not a good show.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. The worst thing was the release of the episodes. Like it was weird that they released 3 episodes for 1 week, and then the next 2 weeks we had to wait for the final, episodes to drop. That was so annoying. I really hated that.
I hate 3-episode drops. I don't like them.
Yeah. It was so bad. It was like, oh my god. It's like they really tortured me to just to do the show. I was like, oh. Yeah,
I remember when Andor season 1 came out and they dropped the first 3 episodes in one shot, but we still did them 1 week at a time.
Oh yeah. I think you told me about that. Yeah.
So we were behind in real time during Andor season 1 with our recaps. You know what I'm saying? Because of that 3-episode drop and the fact that we did it weekly. So we were behind in the show. You know what I'm saying? When we were doing our reviews, they weren't lining up to like the actual real time.
Yeah. Like, at least Andor, like I get what they were trying to do with their release, but like Ironheart, I was like, no, they just did it because they knew no one were not going to see the show. It's like,
Yeah, nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted the show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, whatever. But.
So, do you guys think we're going to get a Hawkeye season 2?
Well, I mean, they offered it to Jim Renner, but they were only going to pay him half what they paid him for the first season, so he said no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that in the interview. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
When did this happen? How long ago was this?
Couple months.
Couple months. Yeah. I think we can still get Hawkeye season 2. Like,
why would they honestly want to cut his pay like that?
They're being cheap. Disney. That's the thing.
Since when is Disney Marvel cheap?
They're desperate now. I mean, like look at their box office.
Is that how far it's gotten now? Or like legend characters, MCU legend Avenger, original 6 characters, like have to take pay cuts, to like be in projects.
I mean, that's their fault. I mean, they're not in a bad shape. It's they're just trying to like recourse their studio. It's just.
I mean, even if they reduced his role in the season and made it more about Kate Bishop, you know what I'm saying, and gave her more screen time and all that, still, you know what I'm saying, he should, he's still the main Bill character. People are gonna watch the show for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm with you, but hey, I don't know. I don't mind having like. Here's the thing. I like Haley Steinfeld as an actress, so I'm fine.
If you can't get Hawkeye in the show, there's no Hawkeye.
Well, here's the thing. I felt like it was like a passing torch for the mental for Hawkeye, and like he wanted to retire. So like.
But you would still need to have him around for at least a couple episodes to kind of like guide her. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I guess so. Like to fill in the gap, but I don't know. We'll see. In my opinion, I don't like. We really don't need like Clint to be in the show, because I feel like especially because we saw her last time. Like I know
You're tripping, sir. Cyber, is he not tripping? How can you do Hawkeye season 2 without Hawkeye?
Let me finish. Like I understand where you're coming from, but here's the thing. Like it felt like a.
ギザ記事を回すこと以外にほぼデータがなかったんです。はい。
what was that? Well, sorry. Sorry, Andre. I didn't mean to push that. Sorry.
What's the pizza guy got to do with this shit?
Yeah, I know. Why the pizza man returned? By the way, that pizza dough is really good. I should cook pizza tomorrow night. Anyway, so my point is, like, I felt like they were done with Hawkeye. Clint, he really wanted to retire, and passing the torch to I forgot the character's name, Kate Bishop. And we saw her last time with the Marvels cameo, post-credit scene, whatever. And it seemed like she was doing her own like superhero thing, so it makes sense. Plus, she's part of the Champions. So again, like if they're going to do the season 2, they might
not even do the Young Avengers Champions thing now.
That's the thing. It's like
the last report I read of the list of projects that are either going to get canceled or like are put on the shelf or whatever. It flat out said that although at one point Marvel Studios was really hyped on the idea of the Young Avengers, right?
Yeah.
That they've cooled off on it now because all of the characters and the actors have aged too much.
Yeah. That I can see. And like if they're gonna do it, like they can't be in the new Avengers films. If you've seen the leaked concept art, if that was real, like I can see them again in those films, But yeah, anyway, like in Secret Wars. But yeah.
I don't believe in a lot of that leaked concept art and all that kind of shit. I don't believe in it.
Hey, some could be fake, but this was kind of legit. I don't want to get into it, but it was legit because it was from the person that was working in those Avengers films. But anyway, that's my opinion. I can go either. I don't mind having a Hawkeye season 2, but at the same time, it's like we don't really need it too. That's my opinion.
Okay, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I still want to see Disney Plus make Marvel TV shows still. I do enjoy them. You know what I'm saying? Even if some of them suck, I still like them. So, Cyber, just real quick question. How well do you think that they set up Avengers Doomsday? With the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts, and these films, building up, into Avengers, Doomsday. How do you feel like that? Do you feel like that really did a good job of setting up whatever they're going to do with that film?
No. Simply put, it was, because of the direction change, because the original plan was Kang. Moving over to that, I think that they had to rush everything. So they didn't have really the greatest amount of time to really set things up properly, how it should have been, like they did with the first phase. Up to Avengers Endgame. So it definitely is lackluster moving into it. They give us those brief little things at the end of these movies, and it's like, okay, all right. I get it.
I get what you're saying. We get the little teaser that the Thunderbolts are now the Avengers, the Fantastic Fours, in our universe,
Yeah. So, I mean, them trying to finish off the multiverse is really their end game, what they're trying to do here. And, how they're trying to do it, it doesn't seem like they're doing a great job at it. So the fact that they've changed course too many times. So hopefully Endgame and Doomsday and Infinity Saga, or not Infinity Saga, Infinity War. No, not Infinity War. Secret Wars, thank you. Secret Wars, hopefully those two Avenger films will justify what they put out in the last 5 years. So, it's already been 6 years since Endgame came out. So this is 6 years in the making, them getting finally to another Avengers film. And all the pictures that they put in between have nowhere the scale as they did up to Endgame. And so, you're going to have a really solid 2 films to really bring that back up to the par you need it to be for Avengers Endgame. So hopefully they're able to do that with these two Avengers films.
None of these Avengers movies are going to come out are going to come close to like the buzz or the box offices of Endgame.
You never know. You never know. I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying that to get up to being up to level or par with people to enjoy them, that's what you need. You need that type of level of commitment.
And it also helps to have the build-up like they did for Endgame, where you had the Infinity War come out. You know what I mean? They had that major build-up, that they set up. You know what I mean? Leading into Infinity War, leading into Endgame, right? They really built it up. They built it up the right way. You know what I'm saying? To where there was crazy demand for those Avengers movies when they came out, right?
Yep.
Sadly, they did not do that for these movies. You know what I'm saying?
Because they changed course in the middle. Switching out from Kang to Doom was, stupid, I think. They should have just continued with Kang. So what? A guy moved a woman. He put her hands on her. He didn't beat her up. He didn't do anything, and yet you're going to fire him for a little thing like that when you have several other people that have been a part of Marvel that have done a lot worse. So it kind of cracks me up what they did with the whole Kang thing.
Me and Andres talked about that on Monday nights or whatever there for a while when that was all going on with Jonathan, everybody, it was all bullshit. He didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? It was all the chick. She was the problem.
Yep.
So, Andre, same question, sir. How do you feel about how well Marvel Studios set up everything for the Avengers films, for Doomsday?
I kind of agree with Cyber a little bit, like not too well. I don't know what to feel really, because first off, I can't believe they waited this long to do the Avengers films. I feel like what made Infinity War and Endgame work is because we had previous Avengers films before we got to those. Like the first Avengers film and Age of Ultron. Whatever your opinion on those first two Avengers films, they laid the foundation for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the phases in between. And people knew how we closed the chapters on phase 1 and 2 is with Avengers film. And I just don't think Marvel did a really good job with this multiverse saga, not having any Avengers film like in these phases. Like I get the Thunderbolts was a Avengers film, but that was like way too late and like confusing for people. It's like, what? And I was with a lot of people. Like I think they could have done still Kang by just doing the thing that you and I were talking about on Monday nights, and a lot of people were saying was just replace Jonathan Majors to a different actor. Like I don't understand why they had to shift so hard with Dr. Doom. And I like First Steps. I mean, I liked it more than Superman, but they did this with Age of Ultron, and I hate this because Ultron was made by Hank Pym, and God damn it. Damn you, Cyber, you bloody bastard. You
Now we gotta work on your timing with that. You know what I'm saying?
No. He was perfect.
Okay.
He was perfect. Anyway, I busted your chops, sir. Shark man. But anyway, what was I to say? Oh, Ultron was made first, Hempink. Of course, I get it. They changed it to make Tony be the one that create Ultron, right? I get that, and I was fine with that. But I didn't like that we didn't introduce Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four film to set him up in the new Avengers films. It just seems too weird because unlike Ultron, Doctor Doom is the biggest important villain for Marvel and Fantastic Four. The relationship between Dr. Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and Dr. Doom's relationship is in the level of, not the same level, but it's Magneto and Charles.
Well, Doom is one of the major master villains in the Marvel comic book universe during his time, or whatever, but he's going to be the overarching villain You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whatever, you know.
I'm not talking about the cinematic universe, just in the comic books, just in general, just not in the movies. But like, he's a very big important villain, and I just like he has a lot of important relationship with Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
If you read the comic book, right? And
he went to school with Reed Richards.
Yeah, and I just don't get why they didn't think to first introduce him in the Fantastic Four film to lead us in this new Avengers films. I agree with Cyber.
That's a really good point. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have saved time during Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
That they could have used for other characters. You know what I'm saying? And given them more screen time. Instead they're gonna have to set up Doctor Doom now. You know what I mean? In the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who knows how long that's gonna take, right? And in the meantime, they're saying that you saw all those chairs. They're saying that there's going to be like 57 different fucking characters in the movie.
Yeah, I know it's going to be crazy. And just wrapping up, like this conversation, this point. I agree with Saber. It can do there's some parts that I think people are excited for that can make the films, still perform well. I understand that. There's still things that they have in their sleeves that they haven't done yet. We haven't gotten the other heroes that were not announced. So they at least had that. Like Spider-Man, we know Spider-Man's going to be in Secret Wars, so at least they're secure. And look, I get you guys have mixed opinions on the Fox X-Men, but here's the thing: the X-Men is the most popular team in Marvel. So the fact that we're seeing, the X-Men, in this Avengers films before their new movie in the MCU is very, exciting.
Wait a minute. You gotta be clear about that. We're gonna see the old Fox X-Men characters in Secret War.
Let me finish.
When they make the X-Men movie eventually, it's gonna be all new characters cast for the roles.
Yeah, I know that. I didn't want to go into the tangent there, but yes. So we're getting a X-Men team, from the Fox, giving them the proper send off, that Deadpool Wolverine wasn't, and that's maybe the big thing that's gonna get them, at least do $1 billion, But I don't know how, because right now,
you really think that there's gonna be that much of a draw to see the original X-Men? Character or whatever, that's gonna put it over.
Look, I cannot speak for you. You haven't grown up with the Fox X-Men like I did. I acknowledge that they were not.
Is Wolverine gonna be in Doomsday or Secret Wars?
Well, yeah, Secret Wars. I think definitely. Same thing with Deadpool. I mean, even Ryan Reynolds. That there was some weird thing that was going on this week, but
didn't they already basically announce which X-Men characters were going to be back for Secret Wars?
Doomsday, but not Secret Wars. Doomsday, we know that Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Beast, Gambit from Deadpool, Wolverine, Jam, and last one was Cyclops and Mystique. So, I will look. They're not perfect characters from the comic books, but the actors are good. You have to understand, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, really good, great actors, and they're the best Magneto and Professor X casting, and James Marsden, his Cyclops was shafted, but he's a great actor. If you've seen Westworld and his new show, was it Paradise?
I just want to know how this is all going to come together and work, because what I'm saying, I mean. You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's just weird.
Are they going to open the multiverse in Doomsday to bring these characters in? You know what I'm saying? Or are they going to, I thought they were going to break into the multiverse. I thought the multiverse was going to break apart or whatever in Secret Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not going to get... Cyber, you bloody bastard. I know what they're going to do. I'm going to save that for another conversation because I know what they're doing. Especially because I was surprised they included Wakanda in Doomsday. I was okay, I understand what they're doing.
What do you mean they're including Wakanda?
Because because before the Secret Wars event happened, the Jonathan Hickman event, there was the Times Run Out, and before Doom created Battleworld, the convergence happened first, and like the first people that saw the the other multiple Earths was Wakanda, because they're the first one they responded. So like I don't want to spoil like the plot, like how it's gonna proceed.
You actually believe that they're gonna follow the comic book plot?
Not not like, I don't know, not beat to beat, but like just like loosely, you know what I mean, like loosely, like Winter Soldier, but like okay, they borrowing this from here, but they're gonna change it up from like the live action, But
you're saying that in the comics, it was the Wakandans that saw the convergence for the first time.
Yes, they're like the first in the Marvel continuity. They like saw like that. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it like that.
And the convergence is when the other alternate universes or whatever, like
coming in,
crash into like your universe or your planet.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ultimate Universe, like in the comics, like all the universe from Marvel. Yeah. And this movie, like we know that it's gonna either be like the First Steps universe or the X-Men. So like I see what they're doing. It's just like there's a lot to like think about, what they're gonna do. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good enough, sir. Let's wrap this up. We appreciate you folks out there for hanging in there for a little bit of some Marvel bonus questions after we knocked out Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 2 recap. We're going to go ahead and do our content plugs really quick. Cyberneticshark, sir, my good friend, great job tonight, and you are up first.
All right, folks, so if you enjoyed me as moderator tonight, or if you enjoy me on the panel, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, pretty much any social media platform you'll find me. As you can see there, my most recent reviews, the Fantastic Four First Steps, and of course, Jurassic World Rebirth. If you have not seen either of those reviews, check them out. Were a blast to record. As for my shorts, still my most recents were the Evil Bong films, which you can find on Tubi. If you ever want to check them out, hilarious. If you like just dumb movies that are about an evil bong and weed and tits and ass, these are the movies for you. Check them out. Anyways, I'll be having more stuff for you. My I Know What You Did Last Summer Legacy sequel is being processed as we speak. Should be up by midnight, so keep your eyes out for that. I'll be having more shorts and more reviews and trailer reactions for you guys, so keep on trucking, keep on watching, keep on subscribing. If you haven't, check out my Patreon, where you can see all kinds of cool stuff once you become a member. And also, the best part about becoming a patron for my channel is the fact you get to pick something that I review specifically for you, so definitely check that out. As always, you guys are rocking it. Thank you for watching us, and we love you.
We certainly do. All right. Andre's the pop culture guy, sir. Have at it.
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 2 review and breakdown. It was really fun. Just recently posted my top 10 Tim Burton movie moments, either the iconic or really awesome moments from his movies, because his birthday was like a couple days ago, so I thought it'd be kind of neat to do that. My recent short was a movie review on Signs. Of course, Dave's Being Edge, we did a movie review, so I thought, let me do that for a short review. And like after this stream, I'll do another Wednesday clip. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So just like a slow burn, because we're almost done with August, which is crazy. And, Monday we're in September, which is crazy. So, yeah. So tomorrow's expect my Batman Begins, finally my Batman Begins 20th anniversary tribute. And then, that's where we're at right now for wrapping up August in the Android's Pop Culture Channel presents.
Okay, most definitely. All right. Thank you, Senator Shark, for your excellent moderation, sir. I enjoyed being on the panel with you tonight. Andre, the pop culture guy. I am, of course, Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge, co-host of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. Please consider following and rating the podcast. We really appreciate that. It's always wonderful to get a rating on the podcast. And, we'll see you again next week for episode 3 of Peacemaker. That's Friday. And but so besides that, we've got Alien Earth again, which is always exciting.
Daryl Dixon's coming soon. That's
coming out soon. That's right. Me and Andres will be back on Monday nights doing Daryl Dixon. That'll be fun. In the meantime, folks, we appreciate all of you out there that caught the show tonight. And